Thank you for joining us to learn. In this video, we will be discussing the Hurricane Insurance Protection Wind Index, the tropical storm option, and how payments are determined. So what are the Hurricane Insurance Protection Wind Index and the tropical storm option? The Hurricane Protection Wind Index, also known as HIPWI, is an endorsement for crop insurance policies that provides coverage for a portion of the deductible up to 95% of the expected crop value. You must have an underlying crop insurance policy to be eligible for coverage. Indemnity payments are made when the county, or an adjacent county, is within the area of sustained hurricane force winds from a named cyclone as determined by the hurricane data provisions. The hurricane data provisions are the rules established by RMA and are incorporated into your policy. Your crop insurance agent should provide you a copy of these if you want to review and ask questions prior to purchasing this coverage. Farmers can also include coverage for tropical storms using the tropical storm option. This coverage is similar to HIPWI in the coverage provided, but indemnities are also paid when the county or an adjacent county have tropical storm force winds of an average of 6 inches of precipitation for the entire county. Payments for the tropical storm option are 50% of HIPWI. But how much would be paid? A HIPWI payment is the difference between the base coverage and 95% of the expected value of the crop. So a more real-life example might look like a farmer who has a corn policy and the HIPWI endorsement. Let's say the expected value of the corn is $10,000, and there's a 65% coverage level provided by the base corn policy. A HIPWI payment would equal $3,000 for this policy. For the same corn policy with the HIPWI endorsement and the tropical storm option, the payment would be $1,500 when a qualifying tropical storm occurs. If 2 qualifying tropical storms occur or a qualifying hurricane, then the indemnity payment would also be $3,000. And how does RMA determine which counties experienced hurricane force or tropical storm winds? Note, if you want to learn all the details, please review the hurricane data provisions, which were mentioned at the top of the video and are available on the RMA website or from your crop insurance agent. Looking at this from a high level, weather data is used to map out a wind corridor. This is essentially the path of the storm where the hurricane or tropical storm level wind speeds occurred. Wind speeds of greater than 64 knots are considered hurricane level, while wind speeds of at least 34 knots are considered tropical storm level. All policies with HIPWI will trigger an indemnity payment if the wind corridor intersects the borders of the county where the insured crop is being grown, or if the county is adjacent to a county that intersects with the wind corridor. It's as simple as that. Now, what's different about the tropical storm option? If the tropical storm option is chosen, the county loss trigger will be amended to include coverage for a tropical storm weather event. This weather event must have sustained surface wind speeds of 34 knots, or 39 miles per hour, and a county average of at least 6 inches of precipitation received over 4 consecutive days. One day preceding the arrival of the tropical storm, the day of the tropical storm, and 2 days following the arrival of the tropical storm, according to NOAA. Again, the hurricane data provisions cover the details of how this works. If there is a tropical storm, any counties that intersect the tropical storm corridor and meet the precipitation threshold of 6 inches will receive an indemnity payment equal to 50% of the HIPWI coverage amount. In addition, counties adjacent to counties meeting these criteria will also receive the indemnity payment. Here's an example using Seminole County, Florida that hypothetically intersected with the wind corridor of a tropical storm. The next step is to calculate the average rainfall during the storm in the county. There are many rain gauges distributed around the county. Rain gauges in or near a grid area are used to calculate an average rainfall for that grid. Seminole County has 5 grids that exist within its boundaries. That means there will be 5 rainfall amounts that will need to be averaged based on the percentage of area each grid occupies within that county. A simple way to think about this is the larger the grid area within the county, the more effect the grid will have on the final rainfall amount. Once the grid and percentage of area information is known, the rainfall amount can be added up to determine if 6 or more inches have fallen within the time period. In this example, there was over 8 inches of rainfall on average for the county, so it would be eligible for a tropical storm indemnity due to this weather event. It is important to remember 2 things. First, RMA does not collect the data used to determine rainfall. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration Climate Prediction Center provides the data. Secondly, the precipitation is not based on a single rain gauge in the county. Instead, several gauges are used to determine the amount of precipitation in each grid. Rainfall averages for some grids may use gauges outside of that grid. Also, not all gauges are used. NOAA CPC only uses gauges certified by NOAA's Office of Observation. Being able to trigger indemnity payments on a county level speeds up how quickly farmers can be paid when these devastating storms occur. HIPWE and the Tropical Storm Option provides coverage for 70 different crops and is available in counties in the vicinity of the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic. HIPWE is also available in Hawaii. However, the Tropical Storm Option is not available in Hawaii currently. We appreciate you joining us today. Visit the RMA website to learn more or talk to your crop insurance agent. To find a crop insurance agent, use the Agent Locator tool at the link on your screen.